Job seekers can supplement the profile manually, editing it as they see fit, and share it with the employment services that they choose. This can draw data from multiple sources. For example, it can draw data on their driver's license or other professionals and civics certifications. It can pull work certificates from employers or from public registries. It can pull education transcripts from schools or public registries, work history, skill profiles. It can include information on wage subsidies and work permits pulled from the government. All of these data services can come together on the left-hand side of the visualization that you see here. Then the user can choose where this information is shared and how. Different CVs can be customized, and they can be shared with talent pools or recruitment systems in the private or public sector, employment marketplaces, or individual employers and recruitment services. The important thing here is that this can be designed as a one-click system, which can radically simplify the process of searching for a job or documenting one's own skills and experiences. Another example comes from the health sector, from a company called TNO, which is a Dutch research organization and a MyData partner. TNO is developing a personal health data space for Dutch citizens. A proof of concept is now complete and under development, and it's called See for Yourself. Similarly, this is a data space that allows individuals to collect data from multiple sources and to direct where and how they're used. This can involve data coming in from clinical and hospital records, from behavior data that is tracked on health apps or wearable devices. It can come from personal reporting and tracking by individuals, or it can also be taken from environmental factors like air quality and agriculture that are collected from third-party sources that are associated with the individual by their choice. This information can then be compiled in different types of profiles, and it can be used for primary healthcare purposes, for direct sharing with healthcare providers and services, but it can also be shared for secondary uses, either for research or administrative purposes, always as determined and consented and defined by the individual. Again, what we see here is an instance where the aggregation and control over how data is used can dramatically reduce the burden of an individual for managing their own healthcare. Other services apply a human-centric approach in a way that combines data from multiple sectors to provide a unique user experience. The Finnish collective and MyData partner, S Group, for example, they provide a mobile banking app with full personal banking functionality, but it's not only a bank. For the user, the app also has a foundational loyalty program. This integrates with data from major retailers in Finland so that users can identify stores, prices, shopping opportunities in real time that helps to support their decision. This can be integrated on maps and spreadsheets inside the app. The app also regularly introduces new features to provide users with more information about their own behavior and options. So this includes most notably a carbon calculator. Users are able to use the app not only for making finances and not only for shopping, but to track what they purchase. Their purchases, when they use their reward card, are automatically integrated into their own personal database of their purchases behavior. This can then be used for a carbon calculator so that individuals can see the carbon footprint of the things that they buy at the grocery store, and they can make decisions if they care to, altering their purchasing patterns in order to adjust their carbon footprint and their environmental impact. Similarly, S Group's app has introduced a nutrition calculator so that users can see at a glance the nutritional impacts of what they are purchasing and consuming, and compare that both to averages of other consumers and to health and nutrition recommendations in order to help them manage and improve the quality of their healthy consumption. Another way in which data from multiple sectors is combined in a human-centric approach is through personal data spaces. One notable example is Atuni, which is a Flemish data utility corporation and a MyData partner as well. Atumi has been developing personal data spaces across multiple sectors and through public services. These services are under development, but so far there are 3 that are created. And notably, these data spaces are created for every citizen of Flanders. So everyone in Flanders receives these automatically with an option to use them. The data spaces that are created so far include a data space for managing career information, which, similar to the example we saw before, collects and includes skills and education with career opportunities and job-seeking functionality. There's also a data space for managing the home, which includes information on real estate and markets, but also information on things like energy consumption and appliances, which integrates with public services, including subsidies and payments. And lastly, there is a health data space, which includes information from official service providers, as well as information that can be tailored and added by users through wearables and direct data input. More domains are under development, and I believe there are up to 6 currently being developed. And again, these will be integrated and rolled out available for all citizens. Lastly, several MyData operators are building the infrastructure for personal data stores. Now, these are data spaces that individuals control, and it allows users to collect and store data about them from third parties and from their own input across a variety of sectors. Each individual can choose what type of data they want to prioritize and include, and it may involve different sectors for different users. There are many such initiatives, including the Korean Maide, which I'm sure that you are aware. Outside of Korea, the data wallet from iGrant displayed on this slide is one of the most mature, and it allows users to quickly and easily collect and maintain their own personal data for quickly filling out forms online. It allows them to verify their identity using an EVSI verifiable ID. It allows them to facilitate and automate interactions with multiple vendors, from travel companies to parking services to healthcare providers. And it allows them to collect and maintain payment and receipt information so they have a record of their transactions online. Again, what we see here, the red thread through all of this is the dramatic ease and efficiency that is allowed to individuals who have access to human-centric services and platforms. So, how do we support these kinds of human-centric initiatives and help create markets and environment, the organization that I represent, and how we're working on that? So firstly, MyData is an international nonprofit headquartered in Finland. It's been around since 2008 and currently has over 500 members, including over 100 organizations, businesses, think tanks, cities, and government agencies from over 50 countries. There's also 16 local hubs, and there are emerging international thematic groups. This is a slide displaying our membership of organizations. You'll see here many businesses, large businesses like Fujitsu, small businesses and startups, as well as cities and universities, and Korean representation as well. Together, we are working to understand the business, legal, tech, and societal implications of a human-centric approach to personal data management, what's often referred to as the BLTS, which, as you may see here, is a wordplay on the BLT sandwich, the bacon, lettuce, tomato sandwich. In the near term, this means that we are supporting and encouraging aggressive regulation and aggressive innovation, both of which are important globally and in which South Korea is making important advances. We've been working on this since 2014, when the first MyData white paper was published in Finnish for a Finnish ministry. Since then, that has been translated into English. There has been a MyData conference every year, bringing people from around the world to further advance our understanding and our mission. There have been a number of additional white papers outlining the importance of operators and intermediaries, And there have been awards to operators, those companies, including S&P Lab, who demonstrate that they are developing services or technologies or intermediation architecture that adheres to the MyData principles. This work is continuing, but we've had some significant successes already. Notable among them has been our support to the European data strategy, which explicitly recognized the value of MyData principles and a human-centric approach to personal data management. Of course, this has not only happened in Europe, though it is important. There have also been important regulatory advances outside of Europe and around the world, including the Brazilian Data Protection Act, the California Consumer Privacy Act, the South Korea Data Protection Law, and Nigeria's Data Protection Act. So that's on the regulatory side. In regard to innovation, we want to note that our members and our organizational members are an important way of making it happen and making it right, but they are only one part of a much larger international community dedicated to this work. I mentioned that there are 16 local hubs with activities around the world focused on advancing the MyData mission and the human-centric approach to providing the public with MyData aligned services. South Korea is one of these hubs, and it's a pleasure to be part of that discussion today. But it's also worth noting what significant advancements there are taking place in the South Korean hub. So not only has there been a significant amount of international attention drawn to the advances in services and platforms in South Korea, S&P Lab has already been noted, but there's also significant attention in academic journals and research. South Korea is really cutting edge and leading the way forward in many regards. I also would like to note the importance of the digital platform governance policy that was established earlier this year, and the National MyData Innovation Strategy, which was announced for implementation, I believe, in 2025. So not only is there cutting edge innovation in the South Korean market, but also in the regulatory support and guidance. So what does this mean moving forward? It means that MyData Global would like to continue to support and learn from the Korean Hub and MyData activities in South Korea. We would like to support South Korean leadership and innovation as much as we can and however we can. This might be through providing facilitated interaction with other members, including other government and companies who are engaged in the MyData community globally. It might involve more dedicated technical support, providing inspiration, examples, or expertise on specific technical areas. We would also like to learn from Korean challenges, experiences, and successes. In the nature of having such a dynamic environment and such an ambitious regulatory agenda, there are bound to be challenges. How South Korea manages those challenges and overcomes them is something that we would like to learn from and would be valuable for the rest of the MyData global community. As part of this, we would like to explore opportunities to facilitate interaction and collaboration with other hubs and peers. There are some hubs and peer organizations that might be engaged in work that is quite relevant to what you were doing. And we would like to help play the role of making those introductions and supporting productive conversations that can help you in your work. Lastly, we would like to be in a conversation with the Korean Hub about identifying opportunities to design collaborative actions. This may involve projects and programs internationally or in Korea that we can allocate resources and energies to. So in that spirit, I would like to close by noting that we are indeed in all of this together. This is a picture from the last MyData Global Conference in Helsinki this May. If you look closely, you may be able to see some of your South Korean colleagues in this picture. But from my perspective, the important thing to note is that we are together in this as a global community, but also Maideita Global is interested in being in this together with you, the South Korea hub, in all the important work that you are doing. And thank you very much. Have a great conference.
네, 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.